Welcome to the Community Awareness TV show in association with the International Human Rights Peace Commission and International Outreach Relief and Crystal Film Productions. Today we have a wonderful show for you with a great guest. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Poverty, based on true stories. Hunger doesn't sleep. There's no glamour in it. It gets everyone. It creates gaps in society. You just can't stop it. Some people are luckier than others. With hunger, there's no easy way out. Some were born unlucky. Others became unfortunate. UNICEF estimates half the world's children, more than 1 billion kids, are already poor. If you want to make the world a better place, donate today. Visit internationaloutreachrelief.net.
You are watching the Community Awareness Show. Welcome once again to the Community TV Awareness Show. Today we are in the beautiful city of Fort Myers, the city of Palms. We're here at City Hall with our guest today, none other than the Honorable Mayor Randall Henderson. Mayor, it's so good to be here today.
Thank you for having me.
We thank you for being here. Give us a little bit of realness about who Mayor Henderson is.
Well, good. I am Mayor Randall Henderson, the mayor of the city of Fort Myers. Dr. Moreno, I'm happy to announce to you that I'm a husband of 38 years. Have 3 children, grown adult children who have grown up here in Fort Myers, have gone on to university and graduated and are living, 2 of them here, and my daughter lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina. I want to thank you for having me on the show. As mayor of Fort Myers, this is one of the gratifying opportunities to come and share the good things that are happening in our city.
We want to honor you for the great work that you've always done and that you continue to do. Today, Mayor Henderson, today, like I said, again, we honor you for the great work that you're doing, for the leader that you are to our community. Not only Fort Myers, because your role as the mayor is based on the community, but you do things greater than just the local community, and we want to recognize you for that. On behalf of the International Human Rights Peace Commission and on behalf of the Commission in India, we want to present to you this award, which states Empowering Humanity, presented to the Honorable Mayor Randall P. Henderson Jr. for Leadership Excellence Award in the Spirit of Peace in our Global Peace Summit that we had in 2017.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Henderson, for all that you do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Marrera, thank you for your work in world peace. I'm pinning you with the City of Fort Myers lapel pin, which features our palm tree in the City of Fort Myers, oranges, and the great sport fish, the almighty tarpon. And I hope one day you get to catch one of your own. You're welcome in the City of Fort Myers always, and thank you for your work in world peace.
Thank you, sir.
It's my great honor today to pin Dr. Marisma with this beautiful lapel pin that represents the finer qualities of the City of Fort Myers. It has the City of Palm tree on there, oranges, and the great fish of our region, which is the tarpon fish. And I'm pleased to pin you with this, which is one of the great sources of pride from our city of Fort Myers. And I just want to thank you for all your work for peace and humanity, and you're always welcome in Fort Myers.
Thank you, Mayor Henderson. Thank you.
Dr. Francois, it's my honor to pin you with the City of Fort Myers lapel pin that features the City of Palms palm tree on there, the oranges, and the great sport fish of our city, the great American tarpon. And I want to just pin you and thank you for your work in world peace and for coming to the City of Fort Myers to spend time with me today. I respect your work, and I want you to know you're welcome here always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Morissette, it's my honor to pin you with the great lapel pin of the City of Fort Myers featuring our palm tree. We are the City of Palms. Oranges and the sport fish of our city, the great tarpon, the mighty tarpon. I hope one day you get to catch one when you come here and play in our city. And thank you for your work in world peace and in being a good ambassador for the world. And you're welcome in the City of Fort Myers.
Thank you, Mr.
always.
Mayor.
Thank you.
Welcome back once again to the Community TV Awareness Show. Again, we have the Honorable Randall Henderson, Mayor of the City of Fort Myers. What is still going on with the aftermath of Hurricane Irma? We know there was many devastation.
The City of Fort Myers did not lose one citizen to Irma. This was a menacing, horrible storm. This storm stretched across the entire peninsula of Florida,
Yes.
To the east in the Atlantic Ocean and to the west in the Gulf of Mexico. It had everyone on high alert, and I'm happy to say that faith-based communities rallied around my office and the City of Fort Myers immediately to begin to help those who were most devastated by this storm. Those who evacuated were fortunate and smart to do so. There were many who could not evacuate, and they had to shelter in place or seek refuge in other safe, high areas. This was a monumental event. It was characterized by weather experts as the most significant weather event in the history of America.
Right. You just mentioned the faith-based organizations that came to rally, but how about other organizations, business, corporate world?
Yeah.
Did they come in and be an assistance to you and to the city?
We had excellent corporate citizens who stepped forward to aid our city. And I must hasten to add that our nonprofit community was omnipresent everywhere. The Salvation Army, the Community Cooperative Soup Kitchen were present. Faith-based organizations from not only Fort Myers, from across the southeast. I returned recently from Asheboro, North Carolina, where I was contacted by Neighbors Grove Wesleyan Church to let us know that they had provisions available to send to our citizens in Fort Myers.
But you yourself, as the mayor, as a citizen, as a human being, what are you personally doing that our community knows you're out there for them?
My son Marcus stayed here with me throughout this storm. My other family evacuated, thankfully. And Marcus and I rode this storm out inland, well out of the way of the tidal surge that was expected. Within hours of Irma's departure, we were both in the dark hours of the early morning, out in the community assessing, helping those that we could. I began to interact with nonprofits, the Salvation Army and the American Red Cross and others in the east side of our city to hand out food, to identify opportunities to aid those who were suffering. I would go back and forth between the County Command Center and the City of Fort Myers Command Center, gathering information, sharing, coordinating information so that people could receive aid. We coordinated air shipments from Tallahassee from volunteer pilots who were flying aircraft into Naples and this region including Fort Myers, to bring provisions. It was a very challenging, very intimidating time.
I still see trucks out there, utility trucks. Many people still don't have light or water. I don't really know. But is Fort Myers experiencing any shortage in that as far as power, water? Are any of our citizens in the community experiencing that failure still?
Well, as a matter of fact, Fort Myers fared very well in that regard. To Florida Power and Light's credit, 5.4 million customers across this region were restored in less than 35 days. The city of Fort Myers did suffer. I actually suffered a very long time, over 2 weeks, without electricity. I live in an old part of town where the infrastructure is very old. It's very expensive to replace that infrastructure. And it works all the time except when you have hurricanes.
Right.
But when we have hurricanes, as is experienced with Charlie and others, where we lose electricity, our power grid where I live is one of the last ones to come up. We plan for that. We manage it. But the city of Fort Myers and its infrastructure held up very well. We never lost potable water. And water is critical for citizens during these kinds of events. If you have water, you can do a lot. You can sustain life with water. There was one other menacing aspect that we tried to communicate to citizens when catastrophic events like this occur, especially after the storm. People are using generators. And where we did almost lose a family is when the generator was running inside a home, and 6 or more family members fell victim to the carbon monoxide. Thankfully, it was discovered. They were ushered to the hospital, where they all survived, but there was one that we were very concerned about. So there are many, many aspects. If you suffer an injury after a hurricane, getting into a hospital can be very challenging.
Right.
All of our hospitals were without power, and we're using backup auxiliary power generators. There's a very limited time for that, so there was a lot of pressure to make sure that we got the power grid back up for our hospitals.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Poverty based on true stories. Hunger doesn't sleep. There's no glamour in it. It gets everyone. It creates gaps in society. You just can't stop it. Some people are luckier than others. With hunger, there's no easy way out. Some were born unlucky. Others became unfortunate. UNICEF estimates half the world's children, more than 1 billion kids, are already poor. If you want to make the world a better place, donate today. Visit internationaloutreachrelief.net.
You are watching the Community Awareness Show.
Welcome back to the Community Awareness TV show. We are continuing our interview with the Mayor Henderson of Fort Myers. Is our city, the city of Fort Myers, up to date as far as what you was mentioning, generators in our assisted living homes, in our nursing homes? How do we fare compared to others?
Well, the city of Fort Myers, thankfully, is a modern and urban city. There are many people who are moving here to take advantage of a robust infrastructure that we enjoy here. This council has been very proactive in modernizing the city over the last decade and a half. So we were able to weather this Irma storm fairly well. I think the most important thing that we learned from Irma is that we need to continue to harden our buildings. Thankfully, most of the damage was restricted to the landscape
Right.
and trees. There was minimal property damage. So we know that hardening our buildings is important, that building codes are current, and that we're moving our city forward in that regard. I think it's also important to note that a modern and best practices environmental policy contributes to the successful management through catastrophic events such as Irma and the way that we move water out of our communities and our neighborhoods. We suffered very little flooding in most of the city. Some of the city where we are actively improving and upgrading infrastructure, where there were low areas, did suffer some flooding. We're keenly aware of that, and we're continuing to make those improvements.
Recently, you were reelected again as mayor. We want to thank our community and our citizens for supporting you. So you're going to have another 4 years of great things to come. We pray that we never go through a hurricane like that again.
Right.
I noticed when we came in, Mayor Henderson, that you have an award here.
This is the Person of the Year award that was presented to me for unwavering leadership in guiding the city of Fort Myers through Hurricane Irma. I should hasten to say that this activity is bigger than one person, and it's very humbling to be recognized in this way, but it took hundreds, thousands of people to help shepherd through, and it was just fortunate that I was able to be a part of it, and I'm grateful for that. And it mentions the commitment to the reduction of crime and improved economic development for all citizens. And what I've learned in 17 years of doing this work, 8 years as mayor and 9 years on the council for District and Ward 5, is one of the most important things the city can do is drive and promote and encourage economic development, because it raises all citizens' quality of life. And it's very challenging to do that. And I've had a tremendous experience with my council members. We're a diverse council with African American members, women, and of course men from 6 different wards in the city. Great. And I count it an absolute privilege to serve with them. They're very forward-thinking. They're very professional. They're great visionaries. And in conclusion, I would just say that really this award is about a team effort, that I've been fortunate to serve with like-minded and oftentimes diverse thinking that contributes to a healthy development of a city. I always like to say we sometimes have spirited debate, but we always have respectful debate, respectful of one another's opinions, and more often than not we end up in a consensus, a unanimous consensus to move our city forward. It comes with a lot of work and dedication, homework, studying the issues, having tremendous advisors and consultants to the council. Can't be an expert on everything. But this is one of the highlights of my serving in public service, and I very much appreciate this award. It was presented by Lee Pitts Live. Lee Pitts is one of the prominent media outlets here in our city. Been here for over 3 decades, possibly 4 decades now. I lose count. And the NAACP, which has a strong presence in our city, aimed at improving the quality of life for all citizens. And I respect them. And NAACP has meant a lot to the city of Fort Myers and its citizens. And Lee Pitts is a class person who has inspired many great things in our city.
You personally, what has driven you to do this, to be a public servant? Because not everyone can do this. We know some may do it because of a title. Some may want to do it for the fame. But what personally has driven you, or what drives you now to continue to do this?
Well, now you're going to get very personal.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that the enjoyment, the joy that I get out of serving in this way stems from my young childhood. I'm the oldest of 4. I have a wonderful mom and dad who are still very much active and living in good health, and right here in the city of Fort Myers. They retired here from North Carolina 23 years ago. They're active. I credit them for the way that they supported me all of my life. I was able at a young age to contribute toward helping my younger siblings, Mark, Donna, and Jane. And honestly, at a young age, I really believe that the feelings of helping others were instilled in me at that young age, and has simply manifest here late in life as an adult. And I didn't dream in a million years I would be a mayor, but I will say that it gives me a lot of joy. It is not perfect. It is not always fun. It comes with challenges. It has taken some getting used to understand critics. Sometimes it gets uncomfortable and not well-meaning, and in fact can even be mean-spirited. And you learn things about yourself in an environment like that. That you challenge yourself to do your best to overcome, let's say, ill-inspired criticism, but embrace the constructive criticism that is rendered from those who are truly interested in helping me and the council make this city better. And for those who are willing to render and deliver well-intended criticism, that's something they have to initiate and use energy to do, and that's to be respected. Yes. It's to be respected. The easy thing is for them to just do nothing.
Correct.
Well-intended and well-placed, helpful criticism is to be commended. But I'm still a human being, and so you learn things about yourself in public work, public servant work. I constantly reminded that no one forced me to do this. Right. I raised my hand and I volunteered, and I worked very hard in 6 campaigns to gain the trust of people. And I do my best every day to try to deliver on that level of trust. And I am certain that it's imperfect and falls short sometimes. But every 4 years I get a report card, and I value that and I respect it.
Well, that's great to know, and thank you. Hold on, we'll be right back. Welcome back once again to the Community TV Awareness Show. I'm your host, Dr. Pete Marrero. We're continuing our conversation with Mayor Henderson. Like I said in the beginning, this is a show that we're real. And you mentioned to me great things that drive you, but is there something greater than your humanity? Is there a faith? And our audience likes to know about what drives us, whether it be spiritually or religiously. Do you have something like that, Mayor Henderson?
Well, I think the strength that I have found in my life, whether it be rendering aid to my siblings at a young age, or reaching out to others, honoring my mother and my father, stem from a deep-rooted commitment to Christianity. Okay. I was born into a Christian family. I subscribe to Christian principles, and I hold that very near and dear. And I believe that because of that I have a great quality of life. Our charge as Christians is to move through this life with an attitude and a spirit of love and rendering aid to others the best we can. I think it's an healthy and an important principle to understand that we are imperfect human beings.
Correct.
I know that through my Christian training and principles that it's important to live a life of discipline with regard to our physical bodies. Correct. That exercise is important, that it creates that balance in life, a focus on a responsible diet. We know that can help us create the whole person. And so I credit all of my success to a strong faith in Christianity, a life that I try to live that emulates the life of Jesus Christ when he lived on this earth. In the world we live in, there are many faiths. In America, we subscribe to freedom of religion, and as a Christian, I respect that and try to promote those principles, and it's something that we hold near and dear as Americans.
Yes, sir.
The freedom of worship.
Right. Now, we know we can't win the world in one moment, but one soul at a time, one person at a time that we can communicate with in a healthy debate and conversation, not trying to beat each other down and win each other for our different faiths or religion, but just the fact that we can share openly in this world that is so sometimes politically correct, and many people get offended. We know that. We don't want to offend anyone, but you know, my lifestyle, your lifestyle, our way of faith should not offend anyone. It should help. We're not only here with a mayor of the city, but a man of faith that believes wholeheartedly, as you just mentioned. And we want to thank you and honor you for that. Because I know it's not easy sometimes for our politicians and people in a corporate world to safely say what they believe in and how they feel.
The International Human Rights Peace Commission, there has never been a more relevant time for your influence to be spread across the globe. We're in tumultuous times where
Yes, sir.
daily we get up with the threat of terrorism, the opposite of love going on in our world. And it's incumbent upon us, no matter what religion that we subscribe to, that we get up and we live our lives daily with love and respect for others. And I respect you and your work for bringing peace across the globe in this way, and I count it a privilege that you're willing to do this, to use your time and resources and talents to promote peace, which I think just about everyone would agree would be center to any faith-based life that anyone would have.
And I will say correct, and thank you for those kind words, Mayor Henderson. Let our audience know the website, the address of City Hall.
Good.
Speak to our community and give them a message.
We're situated here in the beautiful heart of the city of Palms at 2200 2nd Street, Fort Myers, Florida 33901. You're invited to reach out to me on our web and through my email at mayorhenderson@cityftmyers.com. My assistant is Dawn Shalkey. Please reach out and embrace us. You're welcome here, and if at all possible, move here as soon as possible.
Thank you once again for tuning in, and stay tuned because we're going to have some other great shows coming to you soon.